A fourth Judeo-Christian belief that's going to provide yet another important brick in the foundation we're building upon which modern science will develop is this. Explanations of natural phenomena must avoid a priori pseudoscientific explanations that really do not describe the actual causes of events. Okay, what does all that mean? Philosophers generally break down knowledge into two categories. One category is a posteriori knowledge. A posteriori knowledge is knowledge that comes posterior, in other words, behind or after some experience that we've had. So if I want to acquire knowledge about the flavor of a given piece of pizza, I'm going to have to first take a bite of that pizza and chew it up and taste it in order to acquire that knowledge. The knowledge of its flavor is going to come after I've had the experience of the pizza. On the other hand, a priori knowledge is knowledge that we can acquire prior to any kind of experience. So I can sit in a sensory deprivation tank not having an experience of anything except the interior contents of my mind, and I can meditate on, for example, the principle of non-contradiction. The principle of non-contradiction says that a thing can't be both what it is and what it isn't at the same moment in time. And I don't have to go out into the world to draw that conclusion. That seems like just a logical principle that I can discover prior to having any experience of the world that I live in. Okay. Now, what's really going on here is that these natural law theorists and these scientists are really taking a dig at Plato and the Neoplatonists, the ancient philosophers that were associated with Plato, who is the student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle. And Plato had this idea that reality is really constituted, it's dual in its nature. Okay, we have one part of reality is this material world that we live in that's filled with stuff like paintings and people. And there's this other part of reality that is immaterial or non-physical. And this is the realm of ideas. And it's the realm where pure, perfect ideas exist, like the concept of beauty. Plato says the concept of beauty exists in its pure, perfect form in this non-material aspect of reality that we access with our intellect. It's the intelligible realm. We can think about using our power of our intellects and our rationality to deduce what true, pure beauty is. And we use that knowledge that we acquire with our intellects in order to identify things in our material world that we describe as beautiful. Okay, so what Plato says is the reason I'm able to recognize a beautiful person or a beautiful pod or mountain range or a beautiful picture is because I have within my consciousness, prior to my experiences, what beauty actually is, and then I'm able to identify the beautiful things in the world. And so what Plato says is, look, if it's true that the pure, perfect beauty is the thing that allows you to identify all the beautiful things in the world, then that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on that non-material realm of reality that you access with your intellect and not on the world of imitations that exists in the material world around us. So Plato wants us to think about pure, perfect ideas and not be distracted by the imitations of beauty that manifest in the world around us, okay? So scientists, of course, you can see how this would absolutely destroy science because science works the exact opposite way. Science is going to say, look, if you want to understand what beauty is, you have to have experiences of beautiful things. And based on the experiences that you have, you're going to have some a posteriori knowledge about what beauty actually is. It's not going to work like Plato says, where you just think about beauty as an abstraction and then go out into the world and identify beautiful things. Instead, you're first going to go out into the world. You're going to identify things that you think are beautiful and then abstract from that this concept called beauty. So that's clearly wouldn't work for scientists if they weren't focused in on the world, the material world around us. But it's also not going to work for natural law theorists either, because what natural law theorists are asserting is this. We can learn about the divine mind and the intent of a creator and what the intent was for all of creation, including ourselves, by carefully studying the way that nature and natural laws and human nature seem to work. How do things seem to work in this world that we inhabit? And when the more we can learn about how things seem to work, the more we're going to understand what we should do in our lives and what we should avoid doing in our lives. So again, you see this kind of harmony between the beginnings of science and natural law theory.